This is a video tutorial on how to get a topology model out of SketchUp and into Revit, probably the simplest way that I know how. You'll see we're going to use SketchUp, Google Earth Pro, and Revit to do this, and maybe Photoshop. So I went into Google Earth and found my site just so I know kind of what it is. I found it easier to search in Google Earth than in SketchUp's geolocation. And so here I've got my site in McKenzie Park in Lubbock, Texas. And so now I'll just minimize that. And we're going to go into SketchUp. I started SketchUp. This is SketchUp Pro 2019. And we're going to do an architectural. So we're going to create a new file. And the first thing we're going to do is delete the little scale figure so that we have a nice clean file. The second thing I'm going to do, you'll notice if you're using SketchUp for the first time, you may not have these two menus up on the toolbar. I just right clicked on the toolbar and you'll go down to location and views and these two will pop up right here. This is the location menu and this is the view menu. And so we're going to, first thing we're going to do is go into Google Earth and extract a location. So this is either can be done through File, Geolocation, Add Location, or if you have this toolbar up, you can go into click the icon here. This is going to take you to another um, uh, window. This window is actually opens up into Google Earth. And you'll see there's some about zoom levels over here. There's different levels of detail that have to do with uh, geolocationing. We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to use zoom level 18 and then I'm going to select a region and this little box is going to appear. So you just move the little box around until you find what you want. I'm going to include some of this building next to it. This is my site right here, right? Martin Luther King, Canyon Lake, Oak Avenue. Um, and that's probably good enough. And so I'm going to import this into SketchUp. And then going to take a second. So now we got this imported into SketchUp. If we use the little views here, one reason I have them open, if we go to vertically, we're going to see that it's not exactly on axis because that is true north and the map is rotated, or the topo is rotated just a little bit off of true north. So we'll correct that later inside of Revit. And so the next thing I'm going to do, I'll go back to this view here, and you'll see with the terrain model open, you'll see this icon now is no longer gray. So if I do toggle terrain, notice it added terrain to it. Okay, and if I toggle back, it'll just go to the map itself or the image itself. The next thing I'm going to do is delete. So I'm going to unlock. Anytime red appears in SketchUp, it means it needs to be unlocked or it can't be edited. And so I'm going to unlock it. Now it's editable. And I'm going to delete that particular image. Okay. If I go back to terrain, what I want you to notice is that the image is still connected to the actual terrain. Okay. So I've still got another copy of that image. And so now I'm going to save this out as a 3D model. So I'm going to go into File, export this, export it to a 3D model. And of course, I'm going to rename it something useful. I'll go into my assignments folder here. Come on. And I'm going to name this 5354. Assignment A01, site model. It's not a doc file, so let's delete that. And then I'm going to, and then I want to make sure that this is set to a DWG file. It may default to something else, Collada or something like that, but you want a DWG file, and I'm going to export that. And it's going to zip through here, export it. Now you'll see if I look at the folder here, let me minimize that before I pull it over. you're going to see two or three things. You'll see that DWG file right here. Okay, you'll see an audit report that'll show up, and then there'll be another folder here that actually contains the location snapshot. Okay, um, so with that done, now I'm ready to take this into Revit. So I'm going to open up my Revit, and I've opened up a file. Let's do a file, and let's save this while we're at it. Oh, I've already saved it. Okay, so it's been saved to that name. Uh, there's level 1, there's a site level automatic. So I'm going to go to site level right here, and then I'm going to import it. So I'm going to go into insert and then import CAD, and then I'm going to go to wherever I saved that DWG file. So there's my DWG file. Um, we want to select lines. Do we want to place it on level 1? Sure. And we'll just place that on level 1. And so in comes this DWG file. It's not in the form of topography at this point. It's just a series of points. And so what we want to do is convert this into a topography. And to do that, we're going to go into massing and site, and then topo surfaces. And then we're going to see a couple of tools right here. We'll see create from import, okay? And then if we click on that, we're going to see select import instance. And so I'm going to select that import instance. We'll just accept these as defaults, and we're going to say okay. And layers have been selected to contain more than one mesh, blah, 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 blah. So don't worry about that. We're going to delete that anyway. And so you'll see what it did is it created the topo. And if we go into a 3D view, views, and if we go into a 3D view here, you'll see that now I have that mesh underneath it, but I also have a series of topo lines. Okay, so if I look around here, we can see the slopes, and there's the lakes, of course, right here. And so I'm going to accept that. And then the next thing I'm going to do, accept it. And the next thing I'm going to do is delete the original AutoCAD grid because I don't need that. So I'm going to select that and delete that out of the way. Whoops, deleted the wrong surface. There it is. And I'm going to delete that. Oh, it's a pinned object. So I'll unpin it. And now I've just got my topo of my site. Okay. So now I have it, if I put it in shade mode, okay, we're going to see it's shaded here. Okay, if we look around, whoops, there's no sun underneath. And so now we have a topo map. The next thing we want to do is add our original map to that topo. And that's what we're going to do in the next video.